You're watching Rain Knight Gaming.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Rain Knight Gaming. I'm Rain Knight, and it's time for some more 10-minute testing. What's 10-minute testing? Well, this is where I find a cool deck online that I think you guys might like as well. Drop it into Wing Table, take a look at the card by card, then head on over to Mobile Suit Arena and play a few games with it, and then we'll run those back and just kind of go over the play, what I think of the deck, some weaknesses, strengths, all that kind of stuff. If I think you should maybe give it the time of day to try it out. So, if you guys like these kind of videos, go down to, I got something in my eye. There we go. Go down, like, subscribe, and if you guys would like to, please become a channel member for just 99 cents a month. Let's jump right into it. This is Pink Jedi Guy's deck that he's been playing for a little while now, and he's really likes it, and he wins a lot, so it must not be too terrible. It's got some interesting stuff in it. Its low end is really interesting. You don't see a lot. You've got the Police Zaku, which no one plays. But really, realistically, if you look at it, this is a late game deck, and all he's looking to do for his early game is survive, do good trades, that kind of stuff. So this is going to allow him to trade with like gems, other Zakus, and actually make do for a 2-for-1 kind of deal. So pretty cool. Then the Gouf, which is a 3/2, 2/2, 3/2. So this is actually going to let you trade up a little bit because it's a vanilla. Also, I can see he's playing this instead of the Zaku from the structure decks that buffs up to 3, because this is going to allow you to attack, and then if they want to clear you back, they're not just getting hit for 1, they're getting hit for 3, so I can see that. We also play a lot of Zeon stuff, so this acts as a really nice little quasi-searcher. Unless you're me, and then you never hit anything, you always whiff, so hopefully you guys aren't like me. Let's see, then we get into our first really late conditions that we have in the game, and that's going to be Heavyarms. That's going to go with our Heero, Heero, not sure how to say that. And this guy on deployment is going to let you see the top card of your deck, either put it at top to bottom. It kind of lets you stack a little bit so you know what's going on, and that can be pretty helpful. We got the Cash Sisters right here. I'm calling that because they are money all the time. This is a nice vanilla. The 3/4 has a nice big booty that's going to allow you to do good trades. It's also going to survive a Wing 0 drop, which can be really, really helpful. And then, of course, the Big Sister, which is a 5/4, 5/4, and does all kinds of ping damage, which is it's one of those cards that if it hangs around on the board at all, just gets insane amount of value. It's just probably one of the best cards in set 1, and has continued to be one of the best ping cards in the game. Then we've got Wing. Wing obviously does its breach. It can attack standing targets. It's just a really, really good card. Sinanju is also a really cool card. We do not play its link condition. This is more of a big body drop that we're planning on playing the next turn, and being able to hit into the bases, clear for 2. Also, this is a pair effect, so you don't have to have the linked pilot to get its high maneuver. So if it sits there for a turn, then you maybe want to go for game or any of that kind of stuff. You want to hit into the base and then hit for 2. You can pair with it and still get that high maneuver. And then, of course, you got to play the Wing 0 if you're playing green. This thing is, of course, Wing 0. You know what it does. It blasts the board for anything level 5 or lower for 3. So this is going to clean up aggro decks. Really nice. And, high maneuver. That's another really good high maneuver. You can see both of his finishing targets here both have that, so you can really hit in for game. Just playing the 4 of the Underground Base. Underground Base is one of those cards that it's super simple, super good, because it gives you that extra HP. Aggro decks have to hit into it multiple times, so it really slows them down. Can be super, super helpful. Also, it's a 2/1, so you're going to be able to drop this early if you want to, just to try to get a little extra card draw right off the beginning of the game. Pilots, pretty basic pilots. We're playing our link conditions. She obviously does a ton of ping damage for you, so that's super, super awesome. Then only command we play is Close Combat. And I treat this more as a Close Combat from another earlier deck where it's more, this is one of those cards that helps get you through that early game. So I will drop this early in games and not really hold on to them. If I have a chance to clear something, I like to use it then. jumping into our games here. I've got 4 games for you because I thought, showing a good number of games instead of just doing maybe 2 live play ones in 20 minutes, we'll show you these in 10 minutes. Our first game here is against a ping blocker deck, which is usually the bane of my existence. These decks are super strong. This deck does pretty decent against it, and as you can see, we're already swinging in a bunch because we had that link up with our Operation Meteor pilot. We haven't had a chance to use our Police Zaku yet. I did run into that a lot with this Police Zaku, is sometimes I wouldn't even attack with it the entire game it's sitting on the board. So that's something you could run into. If you get past that early game or they don't play a ton of things that would trade with it, it can just sit there as a wasted card. But when it did come in handy, it did come in handy. And you can see we cleaned this game up pretty efficiently just because we got into our Kshatriya stuff and we just kind of rushed him down pretty quickly and there wasn't a lot he could do. So really easy win on that one. So I guess ping so far not bad against this deck. In this game, we actually got to drop our base early, and this gives us our extra little draw. We got our Police Zaku, then we got our other Char Zaku, and this is against an aggro deck. I think this is maybe just straight 1 year war. I have noticed in other games, this deck does struggle a little bit versus high aggro decks, especially like 1 year war, stuff like that. It's not completely out of the realm that you're going to win because you do play a wing 0. So if you do get to that late turn, you can take over, you can kind of equalize. But just know going into this, you are at a slight disadvantage against those early game decks because you're a late game deck and because you're a late game deck that doesn't play a bunch of blockers. You're really hoping that your ping damage and some of your little early game stuff is able to equalize and not bleed out too much. Here you can kind of see I do have a little bit of fight in me here because of all of the ping damage that I'm able to do. I'm actually able to clear off 2 shields and get rid of some units simply because of all the ping damage I'm able to do. He is just going straight face, and I am using my ping damage to actually be able to trade pretty effectively versus him. And as you can see here, we've gotten to a pretty good point, but actually we're not playing against 1 year war. We are actually playing against Burple. And we ended up losing that one at the end there. The late game blocker just kind of screwed us right there at the end. In this next one, playing against another green deck, has a little bit of aggro in it. Our early game, it's not bad. We've got several cards for it, and we can see we've got different ways of clearing off things. You really have to try not to just get rushed down with this deck. That's kind of what can happen. But as you saw in the last one, you can come back from being in a pretty big deficit. One of the negatives I found is because you only run 4 bases, you don't have much of a chance of actually popping one in your shields. So you really can't count that to happen too much. So if you do get down pretty far, you are in trouble. One thing you kind of need to do is, and I don't do this well, is knowing when to attack in and knowing when to not attack shields to give them more cards. Because you can see like these rush decks, they get rolling, and if you don't attack them with their shields, they can sometimes just get starved out. You can build your board, and then you can just kind of take over from there. As you can see right there, we did leave a guy up just because we didn't want to give him more cards, but we ended up running into a rogue wing 0. I did not think that was going to come up in this deck, so we got a little screwed over right there out of our board, but luckily we are still trading pretty effectively, and we're going back and forth with this guy. I do decide to just go ahead and attack in because I want to try to get some of his shields down because I felt like I was getting too far behind. And as you can see here, I am pretty low, but I hold to do 2 commands to actually clear that and save one of my shields. But right here, I'm pretty in rough space, but I just decided to just clear off his board, and I've taken over a little bit. I do forget that this thing has breach. That is my bad. I totally forgot that. I probably would have left him standing if I hadn't, and I ended up losing this game pretty much because of that. I don't think I had a real great chance at the end there. His end draws were a little better than mine. I was hoping for maybe some other stuff. In our last game, talk about going against blocker decks. This is actually a fairly solid deck against blocker decks. Because we do a lot of that non-combat ping damage, we're able to trade up on a lot of those things. So we are able to, swing in. If they block, we can usually clean up with other kinds of ping damage, or you can get rid of things before they block with that said ping damage. It can be really, really helpful. We can also flood the board fairly well. Once we get into like turn 6, we play, a lot of 2-3 cost units. So we can actually swarm the board a little bit when we get into that medium game. So that's actually pretty darn cool. Here you can see we got to a pretty close game, and we actually ended up being against 3 Sinanjus there. And he was just going face. Because, you want to do that with Sinanju because you're just continually getting that ping damage. And what I needed to try to do here is clear off some of those. And I knew with my link target, I was going to be able to do that. I went ahead and attacked with my one dude because he was just going to die anyway from my wing 0 drop. So I was able to clear the board, not entirely, but enough where I could then get board advantage and hopefully come back in this game. We do pull a base here, and we were even prepared, even if they had a base, that we could come back. Okay guys, that's going to be it from me today. Hey, we actually got in under 10 minutes. That's crazy. If you guys like these kind of videos, let me know in the comments down below. If you have questions about this deck, or if you want an updated deck list, go over to the Discord and ask Pink Jedi Guy. He is always in our Discord. Just go in there. Ask him about any questions you have about the deck. I'm sure he will be very happy to talk about it. Or if you go back in the discussions, people have had discussions on a lot of these different decks. That's one thing I really love about the Discord. I don't interact a ton on our Discord. It's kind of one of those free sandboxy things for people. I let people post their own videos, talk whatever they want. As long as you keep that thing PG and friendly, we're cool. But lots of great discussions, people learning, people bouncing ideas off of each other. It's just a great place to hang out. But you guys know what I always say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.